Despite being able to maintain their status as one of the top female groups in K-pop for 7 years, during one of the most competitive periods in the industry, Mi쓰e이 is constantly mentioned as an example of what a company should not do. Thanks to excessive favoritism toward member Suzy, the group had a bitter exit from the industry, with each member going their own way without having received equal treatment. This is a case that's very hard not to have heard of if you're a K-pop fan, but whenever the subject is brought up, there seems to be an established version of the story, and people don't tend to look much past it. The discourse around the group's Chinese line, in particular, appears to be what is overlooked the most, and many K-pop fans don't really know what they are up to nowadays. So today, let's take a deep dive into the controversy surrounding Mi쓰e이 and see what happened to the Chinese members. Mi쓰e이, meaning Miss Asia, was a female group formed by JYP Entertainment that debuted in 2010 with 4 members. Faye, the main vocalist, Suzy, the lead vocalist, sub-rapper, visual, face of the group, and Makna. Min, the main dancer, lead vocalist, and lead rapper. Jia, the main rapper, lead dancer, and vocalist. This was the first girl group JYP debuted after the Wonder Girls, so expectations were super high, and they did not disappoint. The girls arrived in the industry during the Korean summer with one of the most impactful debut tracks of all time, the record-breaking #1 smash hit, Bad Girl, Good Girl. Bad Girl, Good Girl was one of those songs that you just couldn't escape from. It made Mi쓰e이 the fastest girl group to place #1 on a music show, achieving the record in just 21 days. They surpassed the legendary 21. The group also broke the record previously held by none other than Girls' Generation, and spent a whole month at the #1 spot on the Sorbata chart, which shocked even the chart officials. Mi쓰e이 were the definition of the term monster rookies. Beating the most massive competition they could possibly have, they were considered the most promising group of the second half of 2010. Their debut song earned them 2 bonsangs and appeared on the list of best-selling singles of the year at the 3rd position, with more than 3 million copies sold. Aside from the obvious commercial success, another thing that caught the eyes of the public was the members' on-stage talent. The performances of Bad Girl, Good Girl demanded a lot of skill. Despite having a choreography that is almost impossible to perform without running out of breath, the girls did a great job and maintained this style of performance for their next release, Breathe. Breathe pretty much consolidated the image of Mi쓰eí as a group that had performance as their main strength. When it came to their insanely intense dance routines, the members who shined the most were Faye, Min, and Jia, who undoubtedly formed one of the strongest dance lines K-pop has ever witnessed. While Suzy was not as skilled as a dancer, she was able to keep up with the other 3 and contributed to Mi쓰eí, mostly in the visual department. With her quintessential Korean beauty and room-filling charisma, she instantly became one of the most popular girls in all of K-pop. JYP saw the potential in her, and, as any other officials would, started giving her bigger opportunities. Still in their debut year, Suzy became one of the fixed faces of music court, marking the start of what would eventually become a long and successful career as an MC. Min also got to shine by herself. She was cast, also as a fixed member, on the famous KBS variety show, Oh My School. In 2011, they both started their acting careers. All members had a good amount of exposure within the group, but while Min was making waves on one of Korea's biggest television networks, and Suzy was being awarded at prestigious award ceremonies, the other members were only getting cameo roles in dramas in which Suzy starred as the main character. Something we cannot ignore is the fact that Suzy and Min were the only Korean members in Mi쓰eí. Both Faye and Jia came from China. Years later, Faye revealed that she asked JYP not to put her on variety shows because she wasn't confident speaking Korean yet. Added to that, it's a well-known fact that it is very hard for a foreign member to achieve as much popularity as their Korean groupmates, which naturally prevents agencies from exploring their full potential. Currently, the South Korean public is much more open to foreigners, but back then, it was much more challenging for them, especially for those who came from China. Faye recalls that one of the first things she heard when she arrived in Korea and told people where she was from was somebody asking if she only showered once a week, because that was their view on Chinese people. JYP did take advantage of their nationalities by debuting Mi쓰e이 in China in 2011, where they were met with a lot of success as well. And we can't forget that in 2008, their Chinese subsidiary was opened in Beijing. There, they debuted Liu Xin, who won their first audition, which was a collaboration with the country's Samsung Electronics Group. So JYP already had their eyes on the Chinese market for a long time, which is no wonder. China has one of the biggest music industries in the world and is one of the most profitable countries for K-pop. Other groups under their management had already made it big there despite being fully Korean. So it seemed that with Miss A, they now wanted to take things to another level. In 2009, JYP chose 5 trainees who were marketed as the Chinese Wonder Girls to promote in the country. Among these 5 girls were Faye and Gia. They were featured on Chinese television under the name Sisters to create international hype for their debut that would happen in Korea in 2010. Another face in the Chinese Wonder Girls that would become famous shortly after was Lim, who would actually go on to become a real Wonder Girl after the departure of Sunmi. Sunmi left Wonder Girls in January, so Lim was called in to fill her place in the group, and the debut of Sisters had to be scrapped. If you'd like to know more about this scrapped group, I've covered them before and will leave the link in the description. Even though the original project was cancelled, JYP had not given up on the initial idea. It was through the partnership with Samsung in China that we actually got to see Miss A in action for the very first time. Just a month prior to their debut, Miss A sang Love Again for the Samsung AnyCall campaign. The song was released in both Korean and Chinese. It looks like JYP's early plans were really to create a group that would be known internationally. These same plans seem to have started to fall apart in 2012, a year that served as a turning point in the career of Miss A. In March, Suzy had her big break by starring in the movie Architecture 101, which earned her the title of Nation's First Love and marked the beginning of the Suzy craze in Korea. From commercials to dramas, movies, music shows, variety shows, and almost every other kind of promotion you can imagine. Following the huge success of the film, Suzy's face was everywhere. She became an A-list celebrity, eventually surpassing even the fame of her own group, who started to get less and less attention as time went by, not only from the public, but from their label as well. Miss A was already one of the biggest girl groups in K-pop. Having sold over 9 million singles in less than 2 years, they were at the very top of the industry, right alongside the legendary names of the era. Not many artists can say they experienced this level of instant success, so it was believed that Miss A were only just getting started. Not only was the group super popular, but the members were also individually well received by the audience. For being some of the earliest to do so, Faye and Gia sparked a lot of interest for being Chinese girls debuting in Korea. Out of the two, Gia stood out the most, and not just among the Chinese line, but also among the whole group. Gia was the one with the unforgettable pink hair during their debut, making her the most recognizable member. When people would do a funny impression or cover of the song, it was her style that they reproduced. She helped set Miss A apart from all the other groups active at the time, and this was recognized by SBS, which published an article about idols who challenged the music industry with unconventional hairstyles and mentioned her. They wrote, "The most striking member of Miss A is Gia, who showed off her fluorescent pink hair. She left such a strong impression on fans that when you think of Miss A, you think of pink hair." When Miss A began appearing on TV, Gia also went viral plenty of times thanks to her flexibility and solo presentations. At the time, the soloist Gia, who debuted in 2007, joked about how popular this new singer with the same name as her had become, saying that she was receiving many comments from people thinking she was the Gia from Miss A. She stated during an interview, "When I search online, I'm pushed down in the results, but I don't feel bitter about it. I actually think it's fun. I purposely searched for Miss A's stage. As expected, Gia with pink hair caught my eye the most." In Miss A's first song to achieve a perfect all-kill, the 2011 hit Goodbye Baby, Gia sings the now infamous line, "My name isn't Suzy, but when you mistakenly keep calling me Suzy, I should have known then." Nowadays, a lot of new fans believe that this line was a take on the fact that Suzy was the one getting all the attention in the group. As funny as the idea of a group calling out the public for not giving all members the same treatment in the middle of a song would sound, that is not true at all. This is actually one of the biggest fake news in K-pop that is still widely shared to this day, with people changing the lyrics and taking it out of context. At the time of its release, the difference in popularity between the members of Miss A was not disproportionate yet, so the line was seen as only a fun way to add the name of a member while still matching the lyrics, which are sung from the perspective of a woman ending her relationship with her unfaithful partner. Netizens really liked this verse in particular. In articles at the time, they left comments such as expected, someone got their boyfriend stolen by the pretty Suzy, and it's addictive the more you listen to it." Whereas Gia was a pivotal point in giving Miss A immediate relevance, Faye began garnering a stronger following in the latter years of the group. When the activities of Miss A began to slow down, Faye took part in many Korean and Chinese TV shows. She was featured on several of them and even won. She took second place on both MasterChef Korea Celebrity and Cook King Korea, and was the big winner of the third season of Dancing with the Stars Korea, further proving her status as one of the greatest dancers in the industry. Faye's experience made her a mentor on the iconic show that formed Twice 16 and a judge on Amazing Dance of HBS, China's second biggest state-owned television network, becoming a constant and relevant figure on Asian TV. Faye was the first Miss A member to receive the opportunity of a solo debut in 2016 with Fantasy, which was praised by fans and critics but failed to gain widespread popularity. So, as you can see, Faye and Gia proved their potential countless times, but ultimately, getting bigger opportunities depended mostly on the public, who had already chosen Suzy as their favorite. After her breakthrough, Miss A received only 3 comebacks, which helped increasing the gap in popularity between the members. An infamous occurrence marked this period when a Korean site published an article with a paparazzi picture of Suzy and mosaicked Faye's face, who appeared in the background. There was much more that influenced a significant part of the public to turn a cold shoulder to the other members. In 2013, the group took part in the Idol Athletic Championships, and footage showing Suzy alone sparked theories that not all members of Miss A were getting along anymore. In their previous years, their relationship wasn't questioned. The girls seemed to be pretty close and friendly, but everything changed after this video. The video shows Suzy sitting by herself while waiting for her turn. In it, Min can also be seen waiting alone to join the race, which could have avoided any malicious speculation, as Suzy was simply waiting for her turn. But it actually gave rise to the strange narrative that Suzy had become a victim of her groupmates, with the villains who were targeted the most in the story always seeming to be the Chinese members. This controversy came during a period when Gia was facing some backlash that affected how a portion of the public perceived her.
Celebs have to be very careful what they post online nowadays. One small thing and it could lead to something very big. You all know how Miss A's Gia uploaded a video onto her Instagram of her riding a baggage cart. People have been commenting under the pic writing, using a cart that's not meant for people to ride as a kickboard isn't right, is it? I don't understand why she had to shoot that sort of video and upload it. She might have thought it was interesting, but it looks dangerous to people watching it. It might have been at a time when there weren't many people at the airport, but she can't even control where she's going. What if she gets injured? Or if she injures someone else? Since then, Gia apologized on Twitter writing, I didn't expect that the video I took of me riding the cart at the airport 2 days ago would turn out to be a problem. I'm sorry. I won't do such a thing again, and I promise to be more careful.
A video of her riding an airport cart was enough to cause such a stir among netizens that she had to apologize. From rumors that she was dating former EXO member Tao, to having a birthday party where Suzy was not present, all were reasons for her to be bombarded with hate. It was in this climate that Miss A had their last comeback in 2015, with Only You. During promotional activities, people felt that Suzy was too quiet and seemed down. Pictures in which she appeared out of place next to her members made the narrative that she was being outcast come back with full strength. It went so far that people began spreading the rumor that Faye didn't want to touch or be touched by Suzy in the choreography. Fans also pointed out that Suzy tweeted happy birthday to several idols, but not to her groupmates, whom she also wasn't following on social media and who weren't attending her movie premieres. Ultimately, this entire situation resulted in the biggest rumor of all, that due to the popularity Suzy achieved, the other members of Miss A became jealous and began treating her badly. Please take care of all the members. Don't bully people because of jealousy if you plan to stay in the entertainment industry. Are you guys bullying Suzy? You're all old enough. Stop acting so immature. Were some of the thousands of comments flooding the girls' social media accounts. Of course, the members were seen interacting normally countless times within this period, but the narrative had already been formed, and for most people it seemed much more interesting to believe and spread. As her exclusive contract expired in May 2016, after a whole year with no comeback, it was announced that Gia would be leaving Miss A and JYP Entertainment. At the end of 2017, it was Min's turn, causing JYP to announce the group's official disbandment, leaving fans, former and current members, deeply saddened, despite all the pandemonium happening around their name.
就是我至今为止很遗憾的一点就是，其实 Miss A 是5年就解散了。因为在我们出道的时候，我有幻想过30岁之后的 Miss A 是走什么样的一个风格。对，我有曾经想过很多属于30岁以后的 Miss A 的这个画面，但是在我29岁的时候，团体解散了。
Following the news of Miss A's disbandment, Gia left a message on social media, reading, "First of all, Faye, Gia, Min, Suzy created Miss A. I am very grateful for all the time spent with JYP and the other 3 members. After years of training, I was able to become the best version of myself." During an interview in 2017, Jia opened up about the struggles she faced while being part of mi쓰에이. She revealed that her knees were already in poor condition due to the excessive dancing she had been doing since 2006, and also talked about her friendship with Faye. The two bonded deeply and created a beautiful sisterhood. According to Jia, if it weren't for Faye's encouragement and advice, she would have ended up making wrong decisions. She remembered that when mi쓰에이 first came out, she was being praised by the public for her performances, but was still scolded by JYP most of the time, which often made her cry out of frustration and anger and feel the urge to quit her idol career. During those times, it was Faye whom she called. As their journey as members of mi쓰에이 came to an end, both of them returned to their home country and never really stopped working together. In 2020, both competed on the first season of the hit reality show Sisters Who Make Waves, which gave women over the age of 30 in an industry that is cruel to women over that age the chance to debut in a group. Some K-pop fans may already be familiar with it, as former SNSD member Jessica Jung, Kata's Nicole, and Amber of FX would appear in later seasons. Sisters Who Make Waves was the most watched entertainment program of the year and marked an important moment in their careers. The two were standouts throughout the entire season and starred in one of the show's most viral scenes, one that truly showed how close they are. When Jia was eliminated, Faye broke down in tears, creating one of the most touching scenes in idol reality competition history. In the end, Jia was brought back and ended up placing third on the show. With over 2,500,000 votes in total, she became a member of X-Sister. Faye also made it to the finals and received over 1,400,000 votes. She was the fifth contestant with the highest individual votes, but due to the show's voting system, she didn't make it into the group, leaving the audience heartbroken as she was one of the fan favorites, and of course, because many wanted to see her debut with Jia again. In an interview for the show, Faye disclosed for the very first time her feelings regarding the differences in treatment the members of mi쓰에이 received. This was the first time a member addressed the topic publicly, which set the internet on fire. Many were expecting a dramatic speech, but Faye handled the topic maturely and showed no hard feelings toward the past. She praised the members, including Suzy, whom many believe she
然后呢，
disliked.
很多综艺我就会有一点害怕，所以我会跟公司讲说，你就是尽量的少安排我一些些，就是有什么事情我也是让妹妹她们去，就是让妹妹她们去说。但是，因为每个人的喜爱度是不一样的，就观众喜爱度这种东西你是没有办法控制的，对吧？所以对啊就没有办法控制的。就是我们当时就是把自己的东西去做好，剩下的一切你就交给观众。对，其实不是说什么公司就是安排你不安排你，其实没有的。
那就感觉所有团体都会面临这个问题，就是发展不均的问题。
当然，
有人他可能就是运气特别好，就机遇正好到了。
当然，这个肯定是的，就是每一个团你不可能每一个人都喜欢，就好比你看那个叫什么，复仇者联盟，你也不是每一个都爱吧？对啊，就是其实就是这样，每一个团为什么叫团体？每一个人他都有自己独特的魅力，那喜欢他的人可能是多的，喜欢他这个魅力的人群比较多，喜欢那个人的人群可能比较少一些，但是并不代表他没人喜欢呀。
所以这个事情其实，比如说你看，觉得秀智发展的还挺好。这个事情你是抱有一种什么样的心态？
很好啊，我觉得每一个人发展好就是一件很好的事情，而且，当时我们刚出道的时候，他其实自己就是。他也很努力，就是他自己的心里也是很忐忑，因为算是我跟家的时间还有命的时间，我们练习时间是最久的。然后老板其实对他是特别的，就是叮嘱他，你一定要努力，一定要比姐姐更努力。所以他经常会找我们来练习舞蹈，找我们来练习唱歌，所以他真的是非常的努力。然后正好，他也遇到很好的机会，然后让大家看到他，我觉得这是一件很好的事情。而且，当然也有很多人说，因为知道秀智才知道mi쓰에이，我觉得这没有关系。那最终你的答案就是知道mi쓰에이嘛，对吧？那知道mi쓰에이就好了呀。
While many K-pop fans who hadn't followed all mi쓰에이 members after the disbandment were pleasantly surprised by her attitude, their real fans knew they had no reason to be bitter at all. Now focusing strictly on the Chinese market, Faye and Jia have established themselves as two of the top pop stars in China today. Faye opened her own label, Wang Fei Fei Studio, where she continues to increase her reputation as a successful businesswoman, actress, singer, and one of the most influential figures in the country overall. Considered a fashion and beauty icon, she makes products sell out after being seen using them, and works with luxury brands such as Fendi, Louis Vuitton, and Celine. In 2025, Faye released her 5th mini-album, Face the Choice, which features 3 songs including the single Get to Work. The project was accompanied by a 13-minute music film that was praised for its quality and innovation, and has already gathered over 7 million views. Every year she is a highlight of the awards season, both for her fashion and for the accolades she continues to rack up. Some of her most recent awards include Artist of the Year and even Song of the Year. She received several of them for her 2024 hit Too Busy, one of the most viral songs in China that year, and the biggest of her career so far. Faye's latest release was Runaway, her first English single. Its music video was shot with an iPhone 17 Pro, in collaboration with Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple himself. Jia has also transformed into a businesswoman, opening the label Mungjia Studio back in 2019. But first she signed with Banana Culture in 2016 and formally arrived in the music industry as a soloist with a bang. Her self-titled first EP carries 3 songs, and every single one entered the top 15 of the Billboard China V chart, earning her the Breakthrough Female Artist of the Year award at the V Chart Awards. While she has continued to explore different areas of entertainment, she remains mostly focused on music and has solidified her name as a powerhouse in Mandopop. Jia has become a popular figure at festivals, singing for big crowds at some of the biggest events in China, as well as at her own solo concerts. Tickets for her next concert in Shanghai, scheduled for February of this year, are already completely sold out. The concert was named Mine, referencing the title of her latest album. The album's artwork is a show in itself and sparked much attention. To take the picture for the cover, she jumped off a mountain over a river. On the first day it was available for purchase. Mine was certified gold on China's biggest music platform, QQ Music, and that was just the first. Within a week of pre-sale, the album had already achieved 2 more gold certifications. For years, K-pop fans have been painting these 2 women in a very negative light, and the false narrative that they are jealous and bitter continues to circulate to this day. But the reality is the complete opposite. They continue to show respect and gratitude toward their days in Mi쓰e이, and have even maintained a relationship with their former CEO. Mi쓰e이's most recent reunion happened last year at Min's wedding. Although Suzy was not present, Min has already spoken about the possibility of an official gathering.
Do you think that Mi쓰e이 will ever have a reunion?
I don't think I'll actively go out of my way to reunite, but if the opportunity comes in my way, I would love to,
Right. Right.
But I don't really see it happening. I don't know, but I would love to.
Yeah.
Because I think all of us are very talented, and all of us. I know that 4 of us felt similar things on those stages, and I know that they love doing that. So it would be great to reunite, but we'll see.
Yeah.
While it is unfortunate that the group is a lot of times remembered in a less than positive way, they were one of the most successful girl groups K-pop has seen. And as a fan, I find it interesting how the lyrics of their debut song now feel unintentionally metaphorical, reflecting their relationship with the public and the constant accusations that surrounded their career. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Thanks for watching.